So I'm not the type to tell people that I told you so. Not the type. That's really not me. That is really not me. And you know what? I don't deserve the right to say I told you so sometimes. But here's the thing. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. The title of this video is The Evolution of Daniel Jones. And I'll say this. I wasn't always a Daniel Jones fan. I was not always a Daniel Jones fan. In fact, last summer, the first year of Brian Dable in the Joe Schoen regime, I wanted a QB competition between Tyrod Taylor and Daniel Jones. I wanted it. I was to the point where I was ready to toss Daniel Jones into the Hudson. I thought I saw all that I needed to see. That's where I was a year ago, around this time, a year ago before the season started. That's how I felt. I felt it was only going to be a few weeks, and then Daniel Jones would do something, lose the starting job, and Tyrod Taylor would come in and take over. That's what I really believed, and that's just me being honest. And a lot of people can tell you something different, but that's just me being honest. So, let me say this. Since then, or I should say, you can change your mind with new information. Absolutely, you can do that. You can change your mind with new information. You can do that. And I just want to say a couple of things. Daniel Jones has absolutely won me over. Last season won me over. And here's the thing. It wasn't about the stats at the end of the season. It wasn't about the 15 touchdowns. It wasn't about the 22 total touchdowns. For me, it was turning on my television, turning on the Football Giants, and watching Daniel Jones. That's what made the difference for me. So for me, it was about just game after game, all 22 after all 22, watching Daniel Jones and going from, here's an example, going from, oh man, Daniel Jones got the ball, to okay, Daniel Jones got the ball. That's the difference. That's what it. I kind of felt like somehow, some way, Daniel Jones is going to make a play, and that's big. That's an evolution of a player from the general idea of a lot of people, or the majority of people, calling you a bust if they want to call you a bust, or having no confidence in your abilities, to go from that to people cheering for you, people expecting you to make a play. That's evolution. And that is the evolution of Daniel Jones. So hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. So now let's fast forward. It's now about to be week 1 of the 2023 season. And you still have some people that are on the fence when it comes to Daniel Jones. You still have some people that are not fans of Daniel Jones. But other than last year, or I should say not like last year, I believe there's a lot more people that believe in what Daniel Jones can do. They believe in what Daniel Jones means for this team, and they believe that Daniel Jones is important to the success of this team. Now, I'm not saying that everything rides on his shoulders, but everything pretty much rides on the shoulders. That's me saying it right now. That's me saying it. And again, now I have a lot of confidence. Last year, going into week 1, we were going to play the Tennessee Titans. And I was saying weeks prior to that, I said, we're going to beat Tennessee. I got laughed at. And it wasn't just me saying, oh, we're going to beat Tennessee. Haha, we're going to beat. No. I was saying, I was looking at this team. I barely knew what this offense was going to look like. I said that, and I thought to myself, I said, we have the chance. We have the chance to beat the Tennessee Titans, to catch them by surprise, because they're not going to know what this offense looks like. And just to be honest with you, that first game, that offense was pretty horrible. Outside of some big plays by Saquon Barkley and the deep throw by Daniel Jones and Sterling Shepard for the touchdown, it wasn't that many big plays. Like that first half of that game was absolutely ugly. I can't remember what I was tweeting at the time, but it probably wasn't good because it looked awful, that first half of football. So not only are we not going to be the same team as last year as far as skills, scheme, and things like that, we're going to be even better. With these new weapons, Darren Waller, Paris Campbell, Jalen Hyatt, a fresh-legged Saquon Barkley, a semi-revised offensive line. There's a lot of things that are pointing in the direction of the New York Giants being able to be successful this year. And now the main thing that people are using in order to not root, what's the word that I might be looking for? There's still some reservations because of the schedule. Oh, we have the hardest schedule, or we have one of the hardest schedules, or our schedule is harder than it was last year. But we're better than what we were last year. And the NFL is full of parity. A lot of the teams that were really, really good last year might not be as good. That's the parity of the NFL. It happens every year where, good teams come back the next year and they don't even make the playoffs. Stuff like that happens. There's only a handful of teams that are consistent every year. Every year is a handful of them. And I think the New York Giants are heading in the direction of being one of those teams that's consistent every year. This year is going to be a big test. Week 1 is going to be an absolute big test. But again, I'm looking at what we have. I'm looking at the quarterback position. And for whatever reason, I really believe that this team and Daniel Jones can make some noise. I like what I saw in the preseason. Now, we saw all the reports from the beat writers talking about all these training camp practices, how Daniel Jones looked the sharpest he's ever looked. How Daniel Jones was able to move and be surgical when it came to moving the ball down the field, getting the ball to his receivers. And we saw that. We saw glimpses of that. The joint practice with the Detroit Lions. The first joint practice, we got our butts whooped. Second joint practice, Daniel Jones was surgical. The first time we got to see him play in the preseason, Daniel Jones was surgical. Right down the field. He was so surgical with that offense to the point where they had one series that was so comfortable with the way and the ease that he moved the ball down the field, we never saw him again. So now with this big test, the Dallas Cowboys are coming to town, cocky as all hell. We're seeing tweets from Micah Parsons, tweets from DeMarcus Lawrence, just a lot of trash talking coming from the Dallas side. And why poke the bear? Talking about Evan Neal and talking about Judgment Day or whatever Micah Parsons was saying, whatever DeMarcus Lawrence was saying, that's just fuel to the fire. Now Dallas is one of the most stacked rosters, or has one of the most stacked rosters in the NFL, not just the NFC, but in the NFL. And the New York Giants on opening week, Sunday Night Football, the biggest game of the week, have a chance to silence a lot of critics, because if you beat the Dallas Cowboys week 1, that puts the NFL on notice. Not only are the Giants up there, but Daniel Jones is going to be up there. And all of the upfront laughing that you have when you mention Daniel Jones's name, or when you mention the Giants name, how people used to laugh, or sometimes people still laugh too when you mention the Giants, this, that, and the other. Oh, what's your team? I'm a Giants fan. People want to laugh. Oh, it's not too much of that happening for too much longer. I hope people understand that, man. And a lot of that has to do with Brian Daboll, Mike Kafka, and what they did with Daniel Jones, and how he's evolving into the quarterback that we hope he can be. They paid the man because they have faith in the man. They paid the man in hopes that what they saw last year was just the tip of the iceberg. They filled the roster up with talent, weapons, improved the offensive line because they believe in the quarterback. And right now, as a fan, me personally, I believe in this quarterback. And hopefully the majority of you believe in the quarterback as well, because right now we got, Giants fans. We can't align with other teams because they're not looking at us the way we're looking at them. They're thinking we're the same old Giants, the laughing stock from the NFC least. But no, we proved last year that we mean business, that this is a serious team. And then, we do that and turn it into even more this year as far as production goes. And we're looking at a solid contender for years to come, because all the pieces are pretty much locked down. Dexter Lawrence locked down. Daniel Jones locked down. Andrew Thomas is locked down. You got your young rookies that are going to be here for a few years. You're looking at McKinney, he could possibly get a deal. Saquon Barkley possibly ending his career as a New York Giant. That's what we want. Because through all this dark time, as New York Giants fans, this is probably one of the first preseasons where the expectations are very, very high. Very, very high. Not for everybody, not for all of the fans in the fan base, but there's a majority of the fan base that have very, very high expectations. And rightfully so, in my opinion. Rightfully so. So there's a lot of people that can't see it, whether they can't see it or decide not to see it. But there's a change in Daniel Jones. There's an evolution in Daniel Jones. And I think a lot of people will find out in 2 weeks. Opening day against the Dallas Cowboys. So, New York Giants fans, I am hyped. Hopefully you're hyped as well. And just 2 weeks away, man. 2 weeks away from seeing what this team is really, really about. And for me, I'm already saying that the New York Giants are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys week 1. They're coming to our turf. Opening week, new vibe. Even more than last year, we got a new vibe, new weapons. Defense is looking pretty good, solid with the additions that we added. Isaiah Simmons is on the roster now. We got players at every level on the defense. We got playmakers on the offensive side, not names, just Saquon Barkley. We got threats on the offensive side. We got a line that we think can hold up and protect, keep the pocket pretty clean for Daniel Jones. And that's all we need, man. That's all we need, especially for right now. So we got roster cuts coming up tomorrow. Most likely going to do a roster review, of the final 53, or quote unquote the final 53. But that's going to be, the video for tomorrow. But today is all about the evolution of Daniel Jones. And for those that don't see it, they'll see it soon enough. So I want to thank you guys for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.